Fog suspended from hemlock and spruce in a ghostly blanket that whispered along the peaks of decorated headstones, and the mourners gathered round. Boots sinking in the spongy earth, Pastor Montgomery Childs stood on the hillside and offered words of comfort and scriptures of hope to mothers who'd lost sons, to wives who'd lost husbands, and to veterans who'd lost comrades, limbs, and pieces of their hearts in the War of the Union. Would that this united land never consume such a number of souls so hastily again. The Grand Army veterans and sons of veterans stood erect on each side of Monty as darkening clouds moved overhead. The fire department stood at the back of the crowd, as well as the Hornerstown drum corps. Visitors joined them from towns as far as Somerset and Altoona. A drop of rain hit the end of Monty's nose as a trumpet's doleful tone sliced the air. Would the rain never cease for more than a few hours? Though his residence in Johnstown was a meager 2 years, the native populace declared this the wettest spring in decades. Happy little creeks that bubbled and foamed through the Alleghenies were now rushing torrents, emptying into the swollen Little Conemaugh River. The pickerel and bass needn't exhaust any effort, since the current carried them along. The ground was so saturated, even the violets and geraniums that crowned the forest floor bent in merciful prayer. Monty rather enjoyed a rainy day. It cleansed, it healed, it sustained life. But this much rain was preposterous. The American flag, held erect by Benedict Covington, hung limp as the sky unleashed. As Colonel Elwood's last trumpet note faded away, Monty said, "That concludes our ceremony." He'd planned to say much more about the men who'd sacrificed their lives to give others freedom, but no words, no matter how eloquently spoken, meant anything when water puddled ankle-high. Some attendees had traveled a long way to pay their respects and needed to board their trains before they floated away. As the crowd dispersed down the curving path that led back to Johnstown, Monty opened his umbrella, tucked his Bible inside his coat, and followed behind the mass of spectators. At 2:30, the parade had started at the end of Main Street, marched through town, taken a right on Bedford, and then turned south to Sandyvale, where Grandview Cemetery was spread out on the highest, flattest ground in the area. It was beautiful property, stretching green in every direction. A wall of trees hindered any view of Johnstown lying in the bowl-like valley below, protecting visitors from the loud noises of the mills and the acrid stench of the smokestacks. The air here was the purest for miles around. Complaints ensued from the members of the Austrian Music Society about the rain bathing their instruments. By the time the attendees reached their destination, they'd all suffer a good drenching. Yesterday's Tribune predicted more rainstorms this evening and into tomorrow. What they needed was sunshine after the long, dreary winter. In town, Monty picked up his pace toward home. He passed several businesses, closed until 6 so the proprietors and their families could join the festivities. With school out for the holiday, children scrambled about, playing in puddles and helping with chores. The town was in a cheerful mood, shouts of celebration and music replacing the clank and rumble of the mills. Men and women dashed about, undeterred by the weather. Residents were used to spring rain and spring floods, and little hindered them from their activities. The Hulbert house brimmed with guests flowing in and out of the hotel, the first in Johnstown with an elevator,